The sterile light of the med bay flickered once, humming as if it disapproved of what it saw. Commander Jacob Reese groaned awake, vision swimming. The last thing he remembered was a collapsing bridge on Avalos 9. Then, fire, then silence. Now, a scent like metal and lavender hung in the air, and a strange voice spoke softly. Vitals stabilizing. Cortical activity, rising. His eyes snapped open. A green-skinned woman stood over him, dressed in white so form-fitted it might have been painted on. Her black bob-cut framed enormous silver eyes, one of which was narrowed in concentration as she tapped her console. Jacob blinked. Either I'm dead, or I've woken up in a very specific fantasy. She didn't flinch. You are aboard Medica Prime. I'm Dr. Varel Zyra, your attending physician. You are not dead. But you are extremely peculiar. Peculiar, he echoed, trying to sit up. She pushed him gently back with one gloved hand. Physiologically. Not behaviorally. Though I may revise that. Jacob grinned through the haze. Well, Dr. Zyra, your bedside manner is charmingly invasive. Zyra didn't smile. I don't require your approval, Commander. I require answers. She turned the console so he could see it. His vitals were displayed alongside a waveform, one clearly out of pattern. This spike, she said, tapping it, occurred exactly when you regained consciousness. Your adrenaline surged, followed by a secondary reaction in your subcellular structure. I was unconscious. What could have caused that? Her gaze didn't waver. Uncertain. Though, your body did react strongly the moment I placed my hand on your chest. Jacob raised an eyebrow. So my cells are flirtatious. Good to know. I'm serious. She leaned in, studying him with a level of intensity that made even a hardened operative feel oddly naked. This isn't just biological. It's responsive, like it recognizes stimuli, especially mine. That's not how human biology should function. He couldn't help smirking. Maybe you're my type. She turned away, clearly annoyed or flustered. The room was silent for a moment, save for the quiet whir of scanners. Jacob studied her posture. Controlled, precise. But beneath that was something else, tension. Not fear. Curiosity. Maybe even hesitation. He broke the silence. Where exactly am I, Zyra? Really? She folded her arms. You're aboard the orbital medical station above Avalos 9. Intergalactic Accord territory. You were extracted after an unstable structure collapsed and you suffered cranial and thoracic trauma. And you patched me up. I stabilized you. Your body did the rest, faster than expected. That's why this anomaly is so important. He nodded slowly. You're saying I'm healing too fast? No, she replied. I'm saying you're adapting. I've seen accelerated recovery before. But your genetic markers, they're rewriting. Jacob sat up, ignoring the pain. Rewriting? Like mutation? Worse. Or better. Depending on perspective. She stepped closer and pulled up a holographic display showing clusters of cells that shimmered faintly. These are not replicating normally. They're responding to stimuli. Emotion. Proximity. When I left the room last night, they decelerated. When I returned, they surged. So you're saying my body likes you? Her jaw tightened. I'm saying your physiology is tethering to me. I don't know why. And that makes this dangerous. Jacob's smirk faded. Zyra returned to her console, her fingers dancing over the interface. Until I understand this fully, you won't be released. You are a subject of biological interest now. He exhaled. Not a patient. A lab rat. Her voice softened for the first time. A valuable one. That pause lingered longer than necessary. Jacob studied her again. She was clearly brilliant, maybe even revered in her field, but emotionally guarded. That made sense in a place like this. It was too easy to get lost in sterilized data and forget the people inside the bodies. What happens if this thing inside me keeps changing? He asked. Zyra didn't answer immediately. She stared at the scanner, then at him. If the pattern continues, your biology may evolve past baseline human metrics. You may become something new. His breath hitched. And what if I don't want that? She looked him dead in the eyes. Then we contain it. Silence stretched again. Jacob broke it with a half-chuckle. You're not exactly comforting, document. I'm not meant to be, she said, but her voice was lower now. Less clinical. I'm meant to be correct. Jacob leaned back. Well, at least buy me a drink before you start rewriting my DNA. Zyra almost smiled. Almost. But she turned away, clearly unsettled. Whether by the anomaly or him was unclear. She walked toward the exit, pausing only to say, rest. More scans tomorrow. Looking forward to it, Jacob muttered. Just keep your hands warm. The door hissed shut behind her. Alone now, Jacob stared at the ceiling. For the first time in his career, the unknown wasn't some external threat, it was inside him. Worse, it was tied to a woman who looked at him like a problem, not a person. But even he couldn't deny that something in his body responded to her presence. Not just physically. There was a pull like gravity. And he had the sinking feeling it wasn't going away. Dr. Varel Zyra hadn't slept. Not because she couldn't, but because her mind refused to stop calculating. The anomaly was no longer a passive observation. It was active. Growing. Reacting to her presence with such precision that the lab's biometric sensors flagged it twice as an attempted external interface. But there was no external force. Just Jacob. And her. She sat in her lab chair, chin resting on folded fingers, watching the replay again. When she'd brushed his forearm during the last scan, his heart rate had spiked. That wasn't strange until the same spike echoed in his cellular clusters. Not just chemical. Structural. He was changing, and she was the variable. The console beeped. Jacob's room showed movement. He was awake early. Against protocol, she didn't send a nurse. She went herself. Jacob was shirtless again when she entered, wearing only the standard recovery trousers and his usual smirk. Good morning, Dr. Danger. She blinked. Doctor what? You know, because your presence seems to make my cells dance. Thought it was catchy. She ignored the comment, though her face flushed faintly. I'm here to run comparative tests. He slid off the bed and stood tall, arms open. Scan away. Please refrain from unnecessary motion. Didn't know offering myself to science was unnecessary, he said, stepping closer than needed. She felt it immediately. Not just the rise in his temperature, but her own pulse responding. The scanner beeped twice before she even touched it. Zyra cleared her throat and adjusted her gloves. Remove emotional engagement from your behavior. It may be affecting your readings. Right, Jacob muttered, grinning. I'll try to feel nothing next time you stare like that. She turned sharply. I do not stare. You're doing it right now. She looked away, but he caught the brief flicker of amusement she didn't hide quickly enough. Back in the lab, Zyra pored over the data. The new readings were impossible. His cellular structure had developed minor energy fluctuations. Not random, localized around nerve clusters nearest his chest and hands. And they were becoming synchronized with her. Each scan confirmed it. The closer she was, the more active the phenomenon. When she left, it went dormant. It was no longer an anomaly. It was tethering. And she was the tether. The High Council would demand immediate reporting. But she hadn't told them everything. Not yet. She should have. That was procedure. Instead, she accessed the interspecies compatibility logs. Hundreds of documented studies, none involving this level of responsiveness. Human physiology had always been unpredictable, but never intimate like this. She hesitated. Then opened a private experiment file, Subject J-alpha, emotional catalytic adaptation. She didn't submit it. Not yet. Later that day, she returned to Jacob's chamber. This time, she brought a thermal sensor to record proximity effects. He was seated, leaning back, arms behind his head. Relaxed, confident. Feeling better, she asked. I feel fine. It's you who looks conflicted. She frowned. I don't get conflicted. You're biting your lip. That's new. Her eyes narrowed. Observe quietly. She approached with the thermal wand. He didn't flinch, even as it passed across his collarbone. The readings flared. Zyra's hand brushed his shoulder, and his skin reacted visibly. The scanner chirped. A pulse of color moved across the display. You saw that too, right? Jacob whispered. Yes, she admitted. It wasn't just physiological. That was energetic. He looked at her, gaze suddenly serious. You're scared. She paused. I'm uncertain. They locked eyes. Something unspoken passed between them. I'm not afraid, he said softly. Whatever's happening. I don't think it's a threat. Zyra took a step back. It's a deviation from every known biological model. Or maybe it's just connection, he said. Is that so foreign to you? Her face stiffened. In my field, connection clouds judgment. It distorts data. He leaned in slightly. And maybe that's why your data's changing. Because it's finally real. She almost said something, then stopped herself. That night, she sat alone again, data sprawled across multiple monitors. The numbers were stable. He was stable. But the anomaly had grown by 4% since the last session. The cluster density had thickened near his chest, right where her hand had lingered. Correlation was undeniable. And for the first time in decades of clinical detachment, she didn't want to stop it. That terrified her. A new message pinged from the High Council. Status request, subject J-alpha anomaly update, 6-hour delay flag detected. Confirm integrity of primary observer. She hovered over the response console, her hand trembling. Protocol demanded a full report. Isolation. Quarantine. Sterilization procedures if evolution risk was flagged. Instead, she tapped the screen and typed. Status. Anomaly under observation. No threat indicators. Request extended evaluation window. She sent it. Then deleted the deeper anomaly data from the backup servers. If they knew what was happening, they'd take him away. And she wasn't ready to let him go. Not yet. The alarm was subtle, barely audible to human ears, but Zyra felt it in her spine. Her console flickered red. Security alert. Board of Xenomedical Compliance en route. ETA, 0.45 cycles. They were coming. She had stalled them for 3 days. That was all she'd get. In her chest, something squeezed, a sensation she hadn't studied because it didn't belong in textbooks. Guilt. And fear. She activated Jacob's monitoring system. He was awake, pacing. Restless. Talking to himself. Unaware that his fate was now subject to protocol, not care. Zyra turned off the scanner. She needed to tell him before they arrived. Jacob's door slid open. He didn't turn around. Took you long enough, he muttered. I thought you abandoned me. Zyra stepped inside, her voice low. They're coming. The council. He stopped. Slowly turned. Coming for what? She held his gaze. You. Silence. For what exactly, Zyra? Her throat tightened. To isolate you. Possibly, contain. The anomaly's escalation triggered a flag. They think you may pose a threat. Jacob stared at her, disbelief giving way to anger. Did you tell them I was dangerous? No, she said quickly. But I didn't stop the data from auto-flagging. I tried to delay them. Tried. He took a step forward. Zyra, you're the only one they listen to. You could have shut it down. I couldn't lie in official reports. But you already have, he said, voice sharp. You've been deleting data. Hiding scans. You crossed that line days ago. She looked away. Yes. He let out a dry laugh. And now you tell me I've got what? An hour before a bunch of sterile aliens lock me in a box. Zyra approached him carefully. Jacob, listen to me. If you leave now, tonight, I can say the anomaly stabilized. I can falsify a recovery curve. He blinked. Leave. Go where? There's a transport shuttle in Dock 6. I coded you in under medical transfer. It's unregistered, no trace. Jacob's expression darkened. You're smuggling me out. I'm giving you a choice. He studied her for a long moment, then shook his head slowly. What about you? I'll face disciplinary review. At worst, a demotion. I'll survive. No, he said. You won't. Her eyes narrowed. I'm not fragile. That's not what I mean. She waited. You've changed too, Zyra. I see it. You feel something. But you're still pretending you don't. That's irrelevant. It's everything, he snapped. Because you're asking me to run, but not asking me to stay. You won't even admit you care. A breath caught in her throat. Say it, he said, stepping closer. Tell me this was more than data. Her voice faltered. I don't. Say it. She hesitated. Then, I didn't expect this. He nodded. Neither did I. And then, without warning, he kissed her. Zyra froze. Not because it was wrong, but because her body reacted exactly like the anomaly had been predicting all along. Her nerves lit up. Her chest burned. And in that moment, everything made sense. The pattern wasn't random. It was emotional. Chemical. Electric. Connection. She kissed him back. When they broke apart, breathless, the scanner behind her blared. A data spike. Energy readings off the scale. The anomaly wasn't just responding anymore. It was sinking. Her eyes widened. Jacob, your physiology, it's matching mine. He looked at the scanner, then at her. What does that mean? It means you're no longer just adapting. You're bonding. To you? Yes. Is that bad? She hesitated. It's not in any medical database. Sounds like good science to me. The alarm on her wrist buzzed. Council arrival, docking complete. She grabbed his arm. There's still time. He pulled away gently. I'm not running. Then they'll take you. Let them try. Jacob. I'm done hiding what I feel. You taught me that. Zyra's voice cracked. You'll be dissected. No. They'll see what you see, what this really is. Not infection. Not mutation. Evolution. Her voice dropped. They won't listen. Then let them hear it from both of us. The door hissed open behind them. 2 council agents entered, tall, insectoid beings with obsidian robes and glowing ocular implants. Between them stood a prime examiner with a data tablet already scanning. Dr. Varel Zyra, one of them spoke through a translator. Step aside. We must extract the subject. Zyra stepped forward. He's not a threat. That determination is not yours, said the examiner. Jacob stepped beside her. Then take us both. All 3 paused. The lead agent raised his brow ridge. You are bonded. Zyra didn't answer. Jacob reached for her hand. Interlocked fingers. Zyra looked at the examiner. Yes. The agents hesitated. New data must be processed, the examiner muttered, typing rapidly. This invalidates the isolation order. Zyra's heart pounded. Subject is now classified as a cross-species pairing anomaly. Status shifted to protected observation. Immediate quarantine lifted pending review. The agents backed away. The examiner looked up. Enjoy your evening. We'll be watching. They exited without another word. The doors closed. Silence. Jacob turned to her, eyebrows raised. That was dramatic. Zyra exhaled shakily. You just broke half of council protocol. He grinned. And you just admitted we're bonded. She smirked, stepping closer. Not quite. I only confirmed the physiological response. Oh, he asked, wrapping an arm around her waist. Need more data? Always. She leaned into him, their foreheads touching. Outside the room, a scanner blinked red, then faded to green. The anomaly stabilized. For now. The council chamber was quiet, deafening in its silence. Silver light filtered through arched panels, casting pale reflections on the obsidian floor. Dr. Varel Zyra stood alone beneath the tribunal beacon, a pulse of green energy above her head marking her presence for all viewing sectors. Jacob wasn't allowed in the chamber. Not yet. He waited in a containment lounge, unshackled but observed. His heartbeat echoed in Zyra's memory. So did his final words before she entered. Don't protect me. Just tell the truth. The prime examiner approached, flanked by 5 delegates from the Intergalactic Bioethics Board. Their features were unreadable, their stares clinical. "You are prepared to make your statement, Dr. Varel-Zyra?" "I am." The beacon flared brighter. "Proceed." Zyra breathed in, calm and centered. No datapad. No stats. Just her. Subject J Alpha, Commander Jacob Reese, was admitted with critical injuries and exposed to regenerative nanotherapy. The result was a cellular anomaly previously undocumented. At first, I believed it to be environmental. The board waited. But over time, we discovered the anomaly was not triggered by local variables, but emotional proximity. Specifically, to me. No reaction. The phenomenon evolved in tandem with our interactions. Not destructive. Not parasitic. Adaptive. Coherent. It is the first recorded case of interspecies synaptic resonance. A physiological bond, not chemically induced, but emotionally catalyzed. The prime examiner's voice echoed. "You are asserting that human emotional projection created a permanent biological reaction?" "Yes. And I am confirming that this connection is mutual. Not just a patient-doctor interaction, something more." One of the delegates leaned forward. "And you believe this constitutes a medical evolution?" Zyra met their gaze without blinking. "No. It's more than medicine. It's interspecies compatibility born not from genetic design, but empathy, intimacy, will." Whispers echoed across the communication nodes. Delegates debated through linked telepathy. The chamber swirled with data overlays Zyra wasn't allowed to see. The beacon above her dimmed, signaling review. Then, silence again. Until the prime examiner spoke. Council conclusion: no pathogenic behavior present. Bonded condition is unique but not a threat. Human subject is to be released into standard society with a provisional observer, yourself. Zyra's throat tightened. "I accept." The prime examiner stepped back. "Be advised. If further evolution manifests, additional studies will be required." "I understand." He turned. "Then you are dismissed." She left the chamber without looking back. Jacob was slumped on a bench, arms crossed, one foot tapping. When Zyra stepped in, he stood at once. "Well?" he asked. She stepped closer, composed but soft-eyed. "You're free." He blinked. "No exile. No dissection. No oops, your love caused interstellar panic lecture. They gave us observer status," she said. "Which means I'll be watching you." He smiled. "Good. I like being watched." Zyra tilted her head. "Your ego is disproportionately large for someone recently classified as a genetic anomaly. And yet, you still saved me." "I didn't save you," she said. "I just told the truth." Jacob stepped in, closing the space between them. "So, what now?" Zyra looked around the corridor. "Now we adjust." "To what?" She raised a brow. "To being anomalous." Later that cycle, back in her private quarters, the walls were dimmed and the console silent. Zyra stood in front of a mirror, removing her gloves slowly. Her reflection was calm, but her heartbeat wasn't. Jacob was in her room. Not as a patient. Not as a subject. Just Jacob. He watched her from the side of the bed, expression unreadable for once. "You've never done this before, have you?" he asked. She didn't answer immediately. He stood and crossed to her. "You've seen thousands of bodies, studied millions of readings, but you've never been the subject." "No," she admitted. "Then let's start slow." He reached out, not in hunger, but with intention, and took her hand. The skin-to-skin contact was electric. The same anomaly sparked again, visible in the wall display. Only this time, it didn't spike. It synced. Zyra touched his chest, feeling the rhythm underneath. "I don't understand it," she whispered. "You don't have to," he said. "It doesn't need a graph. Just a yes." She looked up at him. "Yes." He pulled her close. This wasn't seduction. It was surrender. An agreement. That whatever they were becoming, they'd face it together not as patient and doctor, not even as alien and human, but as something new. Something no report could measure. When their lips met, the monitor behind them stabilized. Pulse locked. Flow normalized. No further mutation detected. Just evolution, complete. The next morning, Zyra logged her final report into the classified research archive. Case closed. Patient recovered fully. Anomaly stabilized. Cross-species bond identified as non-pathogenic. Emotional interaction confirmed as primary vector. No adverse effects recorded. She paused before adding. Subject note, unquantifiable. Beautiful. Then she locked the file. Jacob appeared in the doorway, cup of synthetic coffee in hand. Ready for today's scan? She smiled. Already took it. Heart's fine. He sipped. You checked mine too? I didn't have to, she said. You're standing here. He walked to her, tilted his head, and said softly, and I'll keep standing here. As long as you want me. Zyra looked into eyes that once felt foreign and now felt like home. I don't want the anomaly anymore, she whispered. I want you. He leaned in. Good. Because I'm not what your data predicted. She grinned. No. You're better. And this time, when they kissed, no alarm sounded. Only silence. And peace.